means let's do anything necessary, but let's not use violence. I don't agree to that. Mm-hmm. If I feel like you're coming at me, I need to come to you. And I'm going to come with the force that is the same, if not greater, to able to keep what it is that I have and not lose ground and what that you're trying to take from me, which could be my life, my kids' life, my job, my character. I need to come the way that you're coming.
Okay.
And because we have been using that same energy against each other, this is their way to infiltrate us, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then again, it's just my thoughts. But, I'm in a class right now, and I go to Harkham, and we're talking about morals and ethics. Mm-hmm. And what that is this. The problem is this. Everyone's worried about the consequences of what their ethical or moral decision is. Mm-hmm. My thing is if you lived here, what would you do? Everyone talks about, hey, if I was president, or if I was a senator, if I was the mayor, if I was the governor, what I would do. But when you get in that position, you don't do nothing that you say you would do.
Exactly.
So, again, us black folks, okay, we need to stick together and what I mean, not just because you my sister and black unity that I'm supposed to put up with your shit. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is when it comes to me seeing that you're being pulled over by a police officer, okay, especially if I see that it's of a opposite race, I need to pull over and watch my sister and my queen to make sure that even if I may not be able to do something, but let's put this on film so America can be addressed. We notice that media, the media plays a huge part in this. And they like to amplify everything that goes on in the world.
All right.
But if again, if I see that there's something going on, a lot of people, we have been raised, all of us, most of us, at some point, because this is what's been going on in our own heritage from our ancestors is, oh man, listen, well, mind your business. You know what I mean? And minding your business doesn't make things okay. It makes it worse. It does not help us in any way, fashion. And
Absolutely.
I think even with the black officers who are whistleblowers, I'm okay with that. But the problem is, can you protect them?
What's a whistleblower? What's a whistleblower?
A whistleblower is an officer who sees something that is not correct in any way, and they go to approach the problem by explaining it to the higher ups, the commander, chief, or however it's being.
So you're saying that
like
that's
whoever.
not okay?
I'm sorry?
So you're saying it's not okay to be a whistleblower?
No, it's definitely okay. But the problem is you got to protect them. It's definitely okay. But you got to protect them like you protect a citizen.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, you let me tell you something. A lot of people are afraid to speak out because they're not being protected. Police have this saying of their motive or their mission is serve and protect. They're not serving and protecting. They're serving, but they're definitely hurting and not protecting.
Yeah.
And it's not in all areas. It's not all officers.
Right.
But my point is overall is us as black folks is we have to sit back and look at the bigger picture. If I had a situation, and I know this for sure to be true because this is a moral thing for me. If I have any case that I can bring to any state or city about wrongful death, I'm not settling. My settlement would be the prosecution of these officers. Mm-hmm. It has nothing to do with money because guess
Absolutely.
what? I'm going to still have to live my life the way it is. I'm still going to be looked upon as whatever the world, the upper ups, the people of government in a certain area, of course, how they view us black folks.
But not to cut you off, but even though I get that,
no, it's okay.
I get that. We need to start standing up. We need to start doing stuff. But you gotta understand, like a lot of us that are being targeted are of color. We don't have no money to keep going up against, these white laws. We don't have the powers that be. We don't have no money. Nobody has.
We have the power.
We have the power, but if I'm wrongfully accused, or my son or my daughter is taken advantage of by law enforcement that didn't result in them, being deceased, then I have one income, You know, and I'm not getting child support. How does someone in that situation, you know, say, okay, I'm going to be able to go ahead and get an attorney and go after them and do everything like that? You know what I'm saying? Like some people don't. Some
and you know what my suggestion would be?
Financially equipped to go up against some of these people.
Mm-hmm.
Look how
absolutely, and that's a good question. How I would address that? Let me tell you something. Us black folks spend a lot of money. You spend a lot of money on rims, stereo systems, houses that you won't even live in because you're spending all your time at work trying to keep this house. You're buying fashionable things. That same amount of money could be put into a pot where we could create a organization that supports those, such as, like you said, I got a one-person income. My kid is going up against something. We need to be able to put some financial situation into this. Yeah. Guess what? If everybody puts in $50, let's say all your followers put in $50 a month, you don't think that could potentially, only potentially, be enough money to start a process to help?
Yeah, I definitely do. I definitely do. You know, I will say that, you know, one of my personal goals is, you know, I want to do something for the justice system. I don't know what I could do because I ain't no attorney now, but I definitely.
But guess what? We're not going to talk about that yet because we don't want to expose our moves before we move.
Oh no, absolutely not. I'm not worried about.
I'm with you,
child. I'm not worried about that. What's for me is for me. But I'm just saying.
No. I'm not saying be worried about them.
I do.
But the thing is they tend to start. They tend to start to chop us down before we get started.
Absolutely.
Okay? We're looking at the white supremacy who still exists, but when Black Panthers existed, when we had the the Angels, you know, they were chopped down right before because they knew of them.
Yeah.
And why do white supremacy still exist? It exists because at the end of the day, these folks are being supported by their own. Why can't we support our own?
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. I do know that I want to do something with the judicial system. I just don't know what.
And I'm with you. If you talk to me when off record as to what you may have in mind, and I tell you what, I have enough people in Philadelphia. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm from. I wasn't murdered for 16 years. That's right. Listen, you bring me what you have, I'm gonna bring you what I have. And we can start this thing, and we can rock this situation, because I know it can be done. Yeah. And let me tell you something. If you have those who follow you really think and believe in you as a person, starting with what you brought to the table thus far, which is great topics, right?
Thank you.
Listen, we out here. We're going to be all out here, because I have a lot out here that's going to work with me.
Okay.
My thing is this, we can't just do it alone, okay? You can want it by yourself, saying, here's my vision, but that may not be everyone else's vision.
Absolutely.
And you got scared ones. You got those who are gangster enough to, let's say, let's go. We're going at it head on. But we're going to figure out, we got to get those who can study the law or know the law enough to be able to know how to manipulate like everyone else does.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying in a bad way. Everybody thinks manipulation is a bad thing. It's not necessarily that.
It's not.
This is why Trump was able to pay $750 compared to millions of dollars when he's making billions.
That's crazy.
You know, so there's 1,000 ways we can make that. As they say, there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat. Let's get at it. And
absolutely.
I know me personally, and I told you I will come on your show. I know that I have
we're not gonna keep doing that. We're not gonna keep doing that.
I will definitely be there. I promise you this.
We're not gonna do that. Because your ass is supposed to be here 3 seasons ago.
No, listen. That was my fault. I'm almost done school, and let me tell you something. I have a lot of things lined up, and I'm ready to go. But this is a preparation for me to be able to do this. If I tell you that I'm going to punch you in your face, you're already going to be expecting it, so you're already in defense for it. If I'm making moves in silence, you have no understanding what's getting ready to happen.
Well, nigga, you've been quiet for too long now, and I ain't seen you in a million years.
I get it. I get it, Miss Lady, but I promise you, and this is my word, and for all the listeners out there and those who are viewing, I'm definitely going to be there. I'm going to show my face because there's a lot that I want to say and a lot of things that has happened to me personally. Mm-hmm. And we're going to make this thing, we're going to show, because I had injustice done to me as well. I lost a lot. I lost my house. I had to basically, in so many words, leave my career. And it was hard.
Yeah.
based off of the foolishness that this injustice is bringing to us.
And
I
that's
did nothing
what
wrong.
I'm saying.
Had I did
like,
something wrong, I would be in jail.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, a
So-
lot of people, you know, thanks for calling me too. A lot of people, this is why I have something else that I want to do too, because a lot of people don't understand. They see like all police stick together, blue, blue, blue. But what you guys really don't know is the police are the worst to their own. Like, they are the worst. You know, some may not want to admit it, you know, but it's not as united as people would think that it is, okay?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's the one thing, maybe whenever you do decide to come, I definitely want to have this conversation. I have several other people who also want to be present during the conversation for the show, because you guys, like, the police departments are not as unified as you would think to believe.
Exactly.
I can't
That's
speak,
exactly it.
I can't speak for all police departments, but I can tell you about BCPD, okay? And their foolishness. And my whole thing is, a lot of those police that you guys see on the news, that what was it, the gun task force and everybody else, the department already knew they were crooked. They already knew that.
Absolutely.
They knew that for years. So it's just like it's never a secret. It's just when something happens is when they're like, oh, we got to slap a Band-Aid on it and do something about it. You know,
absolutely.
And it's
when
just,
we as people just accept the Band-Aid, and instead of taking the wound for what it is, and want to see the person that caused this wound to get their wounds, if not bigger,
just like
we're going to always be in this position.
Just like, you know, you guys, y'all got me telling y'all stuff early. So just like the Freddie Gray situation, you know, everybody got mixed up in that and all of that. But even all of those who had the power, now y'all know I only speak on what I know, who had the power to calm the city down, were sitting in a fucking room watching it on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Watching it. Am I lying? Am I lying?
You're not lying at all. And
so,
you know what?
So that's what I'm saying.
Let me tell you something about that city.
So that's what I'm saying. So when all that stuff was going on, and the city was getting terrorized, and everybody was just so upset, it's just like, sometimes it just irritated me a little bit, because it's like, you know, one bad apple spoils the whole bunch. But I'm like, y'all would not believe that the department is not as unified as you want to believe that it is. And the people who are up here on TV with the white shirts talking, you never see them in the street. You never see
exactly.
them.
They only reporting what was reported to them, and it could be a lie. There was no investigation. And you know what I'm gonna say about that? Just real quick. I don't want to top your lines. I've been here for a little bit, and I'm okay to stay here as long as I'm allowed.
Oh, no, you good.
But
you good.
What I realized with the police departments, period, right, is that they glorify a lot of things that most of us know is not possible. You can't have one officer showing up, getting a person arrested with six different people with 6 different guns in one shift. That's impossible. Yeah. There's something behind it, and you don't think there's something's wrong with it, but you look at it and say, oh, you did a good job. You got a gun off the street. You got several guns. There's something criminal inside that, okay? And you know, again, hopefully we're going to do another session as to what really needs to be talked about. But that's another place.
Ronnie Love commented, he said, yes, they are crazy. I resigned, and from out of the clear blue sky, I ended up with an internal affairs number, and I didn't even know I had it. Wow. That is crazy.
Interesting.
Ronnie, you want to call me? You should call in here today. Like, that is crazy. And so this is the part that people don't get to see, because, you know, depending upon how you went out on the police department, you know, they like to label you as fucking bitter and angry. But that's definitely not the case. It's like, it's some shit that goes on, like you guys just heard from myself, different things that occur from the caller on the phone, Mr. Antoine, and then also in the comments with Ronnie saying that he retired from the police department. They are crazy, and he ended up with an internal affairs note.
And guess what? Ronnie Love, I know him because we have been through this together, the police department. Mm-hmm. Okay, I know you well, brother, and I understand where you come from. And, I had a lot of people trying to pound me. And those who are right now, those officers,
hello?
Something on me, in a sense.
Huh?
Hey, listen, dig your head. Can you hear me?
What you say you had cut out? What did you
understand say? That, I'm sorry. I was saying that Ronnie Love, I know him, and I know him well.
Okay.
I haven't seen him in a little bit, but I know who he is. And I understand his reasoning of wanting to resign. I resigned. But let me tell you something. I've had officers who was of that gun task force make up things about me and what I had going on to deflect what they were doing. But I can tell you one thing, and I'm going to say with confidence and in pride. Your God and my God are two different guys, obviously. Your God let you down. My God's arm, listen, your arms are not strong enough or even long enough to box with my God. And look where I am. I served not one day in jail, none of that, based off of the foolishness that is being put out there as a black officer. Hey, you did this, you did that. Hey, you know what? Let me tell you something. We all know who's who and what's what.
Yeah.
And we all, again, we need to get out and vote. And if you can get out and vote in person, I primarily recommend that. If not, that's fine. But I have so much to